Hey everyone, welcome to your moon reading. As you guys know, for this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the moon in Gemini. It's going to be hanging out in the sign of Gemini from December 6th to December 9th. And of course, it's also going to be all about the full moon in Gemini. So let's take a quick look. I'm going to try and keep this as quick as possible because I definitely am getting signs of rest. I need rest, right? But at the same time, I also would like to still do as much as I can. So South Node in Capricorn. So let's jump right in and see what messages our guides have for us for these days. Although you guys know that these are ultimately timeless and signless readings. So there's one. Nice. Okay, makes sense. Thank you, Spirit. And of course, if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, please feel free to reach out. You can find all my information for my Etsy page. As you know, we offer, we meaning my guides and me, my guides and I, we offer healing sessions as well as readings of all sorts. So just stop by. All right. I love using these unicorn cards. I decided to use them tonight because the energies are so nice and gentle. Support, right? Ask for help. What is this card? Miracles. Ugh, I love miracle cards. And I love the miracle energies. So as I'm feeling into the energies now, thank you, Spirit. As I'm feeling, oh, they're so sweet. They're like, we're here to support your passion. That's exactly what they said. Thank you. Because I was sitting here like, should I do this reading? Should I not? I mean, I want to bring messages out, but I also want to, and I'm like, will you guys help me? That's kind of them. But let's jump in. So as I was feeling into these messages, definitely feeling, hold on, let me refrain from saying that just yet. One sec, guys. It feels like a little bit like there's a rebirth. Now, hear me out. I want to say a little bit of a rebirth on hold, but let me go ahead and explain what that feels like. It feels like Spirit wants to have a little personal growth first. Now, this could be personal growth in a certain area. Like, for example, I'm feeling that maybe there was something that somebody here wanted to do, like in terms of opening a store or doing something that would require some type of investment of finances. But Spirit is like, well, let's take a moment for 3 months or so in this example, right? For 3 months or also 6 weeks, I'm hearing for someone else, to build financial wealth. So you see, I'm getting that there's a little bit of something that's been placed on hold, not necessarily, not even in a punitive way. It's because there's some type of personal growth that they would like to introduce into your life in a certain area. For somebody here, of course, it could be wealth management is what I'm getting for, that was the example we used. For others of you, it may be the conditions aren't right. I have to be honest. I am sensing that somebody here would like, at least one person, right, would like to, or they're entertaining. I don't know if you've actually like how close, how much you would admit it, but someone here is entertaining the idea of leaving a connection. You do feel biologically female to me, and it feels that you're considering leaving a connection with a biological male with whom you live. So maybe you've been having those thoughts, and for you in particular, and this advice goes out to anyone in general, if you're having these kinds of thoughts and you're in a low moment, you're in a dark mood, you're in a dark place, so to speak, I would advise you not to take any major steps because, while being in a low mood or a dark place, like when someone says, I'm in a dark place right now, while that can definitely be an impetus for change, it's very important to know that when you're making any big changes from that place, chances are that you're making a change at a time when there are a lot of low vibration energies, a lot of low frequency energies, a lot of disdain is what I'm getting, a lot of frequency suckers, the guides are saying. Yeah, and so that's also a little bit of a nod to attachments. Remember, negative attachments, meaning beings, discarnate beings, things like that feed off of your lower vibrational frequency, they enjoy bumping elbows with you when you're in that low of a vibration. And so when you're that low, they want to keep you in that state. And so it come the whisperings and the attachments and things like that. So please, 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 at this time in your life, and all times, but really, really this time in particular, please make sure that you remember to monitor, be vigilant. And sometimes there's time for more hypervigilance, and sometimes it's time to just chill. This is definitely a time for you to do your due diligence for hypervigilance about what is popping through your mind. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Thought by thought by thought by thought. What are your emotions? Monitor these things. It might seem like a lot of work, but it becomes a lot more easy. And it's really just about you being responsible for what is going on in your energetic field. Because without that focus, then you can say that you're in an unconscious state, in the sense that, you know, thoughts and feelings are popping up for you, and then you're just unconsciously having these knee-jerk reactions or inclinations to take certain actions. And so you have to understand that that kind of path is what you could deem unconscious. By contrast, a conscious place of being is when, thanks guides, oh they're so sweet, a conscious place of being is when you acknowledge that you're aware. That's awareness, right? You acknowledge that you have certain thoughts and feelings running in your mind at the same time, and then from that place of awareness you can have those feelings, feel the feels, but also be aware that you can make a choice that's independent of those. It's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling like this, but I'm choosing to take this action because boom, for something long term. And the guides, I said, oh, the guides are so sweet, because they're like they're like, tell them about what I was just telling you about when I was sitting here for like a good 10 minutes. Like, should I do this reading? Should I not? I mean, I just want to be of service, and I want to put out the best quality that I can. I want to make sure I'm connecting to the light, that I'm in the space, you know, all of that stuff. So I'm like, what do you think, guides? And I was going back and forth, and in the end I just decided, you know what, bump it. I'm just going to do the reading, see how it flows, and if it's if I feel confident and happy about what came through and in a good place about it, then I'll keep it. And you guys saw here that the guide said, hey, if this is your passion, we're going to support you. I was like, oh my God. So there it is. So I was having these feelings. It caused me to question myself, which is very par for the course right now. And I made a decision, in spite of what I was feeling. I came up with a plan saying, okay, this is my plan. I'm going to do it anyway because it's what I would like to do. Let's see how it turns out. And I reserved the right to say yay or nay. And lo and behold, I showed up, and Spirit showed up along with me. And so you see, they say God helps those who help themselves. And so yeah, there it is. So right now, make sure, as we are going through the month of December, that you are standing in your power. Standing in your power can be interpreted in many ways, but the way that I'm going to interpret it for you in this moment is to remember that you have the power of choice. We may feel inclined to take certain actions, and the thoughts of, and these inclinations, we have to understand, are precipitating, and I say this all the time, they precipitate from our gut reactions, our knee-jerk reactions, which are informed by how we're feeling, and our feelings are informed by the things we think, and the things that we think are informed by, guess what, our desires existentially. I desire to make my mark on the world. I desire to never be lost again. You know, whatever these desires, these are deep-seated desires. And even those deep-seated desires, existentially speaking, I'm not saying I want to get a home. I mean these deeper desires, right? I want to never feel alone again. I want to always be in control. Right? Those are even informed by something. And what they're informed by are our core beliefs. And so core beliefs sometimes take time to really get to, because there's so many levels of your field, right? Then core beliefs, you can find them enjoying themselves, whether they're loving or fear-based, in the 7th level of the field. That's deep, it's up there. And so it's very important that you understand that your thoughts, the things you think that you're thinking, are, because A Course in Miracles reminds us we're not actually thinking, but the thoughts that are popping through your mind, they're going to seem logical to you. I'm going to make this move. It feels logical. Yeah, because it's based on a core belief. Your whole engine is running on that gas or that oil. The oil is that, right? And so what's running your tank? It's the core belief. But if your core belief is not one based in love, you're going to see enemies everywhere. You're going to see low self-worth for yourself. You're going to see a world that is filled with fear, and things are going to be upside down. And so this is why we try to do the healing work. The healing work gets to the fragments within us, the different aspects of our soul that we're carrying. Some of these are past lifetime aspects that still need to be healed. Some of them are wounded inner children. Some of them are wounded aspects from this lifetime. They're fragmentation. And so that's why when you think about healing, you're thinking about soul integration. Integration is what we're here for. Pull yourself together. Where do you think that came from? That's what it means. If you're ever like, oh, I feel like doing this. Oh, but I kind of feel like doing it. I should be doing this. Yeah, because you feel like doing all those at the same time because you have different aspects to you. And that's understandable. That's why we're here. But your real G and your real Gucci, if you remember that the voice, because we got voices all over, the voice that you listen to and then take action upon is the one that wins out. The dragon that you feed is the one that lives. And so remember, you are a sovereign being. We could think to high heaven that the angels are telling us to do something, that Jonelle being me is telling you to do something, that your parents, the voices of your ancestors, the epigenetics, the this and that, whatever you want to say, but the buck stops with you. And that's why awareness is very important, because all the guides want to ask you, do you see it? Do you see it now? Are you aware? Once you become aware, you give yourself back your sovereignty. The sovereignty is just, hey, I see all this stuff going on. I'm aware of it. But anyway, I'm going to take this action because boom, boom, boom. That's what awareness is. Okay? So right now, going back to this point again that I keep coming back around to and then going into another story about, make sure that you're being very, very conscious, mindful, aware. See, all these words come together of what it is that you are doing. And why? Okay? You may feel moved to do something, but is it the most loving thing to do? And even that is something to consider, because it's a balance between self-love and love for others. And I think the way to really kind of, the thin line there, or the way that we can split that down the middle and really stay in the middle road, as Buddha said, stay in the middle with everything, is by remembering the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. Sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Okay? We're not on the battlefield here with like, someone's not about to rob your house right now and they've got a gun in your face. So if it's none of those situations, then there's a lot of wiggle room to really make some choices from the heart, right? So, oh my God, I'm now looking at the cards. You guys can't see me, but I'm looking that way because I'm just all in my own world. Look at this card, awareness. Oh yeah. So I do know what I'm talking about. Yes, you do. Oh my gosh, partnership. Get it, guides? Yeah, God is so good. Okay. All right, so let me feel into the energies. Any other energies? Thank you. See, we don't need the cards. I'm not even on the cards yet. But another thing the guides are saying is you're going to be receiving a lot of energy right now. Guys, hello. We know this. And I love how these cute little unis look on here, because look at all of them with their horns. They're like, listen, Jay, these look like horns to you, but they're actually, receptors. We're going to stand, we're going to receive, and those energies are going to come through us. The more that we purify our vessel, the greater strength, the greater purity, the greater potency is the word of these energies that are coming through us, because they hit us with with purity, right? These are energies from ourself. See, we can also think of it as authenticity. These are our higher self energies coming through. But what happens is once it hits our field, it starts having to navigate all of our shadows and this and that. And by the time it makes its way down our field, literally down the levels of our chakras and our auric fields and levels to our field, it's starting to hit the dense thoughts and the low self-worth types, and the poverty consciousness, and the victim consciousness, and the martyrdom, and the blaming, we get into the feelings, and then the gut reactions, and then it's everybody else's fault, and boom, actions are taken, and whoosh, karma happens. Yeah, I'll take 3 karma, please. With a side of water. I mean, what are we doing, right? And so it's like, look at how this light wants to come to this cute uni, but all of these trees are there. And so Spirit is saying the best thing to do right now as you're receiving all of this passion, all of these energies from your higher self, all of this inspiration, all of this creative juice, as it's coming through, do your best to purify your vessel. What does purifying your vessel look like? It means creating the space for you to be able, I'm hearing for somebody here, it could even be for me, yeah. Creating the space for you to do your business, right? Create the space to be yourself, number 1. Create the space, and for somebody here, I'm seeing that could be as simple as taking time out at night and looking up at the stars. Really getting outside, feeling the crisp air on you, wearing your cute little turtleneck, your favorite outfit, your bundle up, your hot chocolate, and look at the stars. The stars have an ability to take us places, if only because from a conscious mind perspective, we don't really know what's up there so much, and so there's so much latitude to superimpose the fantastical. It's like a beautiful blank canvas to us, and this and that, right? It's beautiful, right? And then of course some of us, you're really connecting to your star, your galactic cousins and your star beings, and right? But either way, it's a beautiful place to look up. You're not usually there, you're usually down here, and down here has so many negative associations because of the pain that you go through. So we're free enough to look up. So Spirit is saying, create the space for you to have that alone time, create the space for you to feel. For some of you, there's a redirection that's coming. It could be in terms of your diet, could be in terms of your friendship. I'm tempted to say car for somebody, it doesn't have to be, but for somebody here, Spirit is actually, wow, good for you, whoever you are, whoever you be. Spirit is actually encouraging you to take a vacation. They're like, pack up the car, get in the car and go somewhere for a few days. Now, I just see you driving. Now, I want you to know, if that's for you, you will probably have already been having this thought, and your rebuttal to them may be like, oh, I don't have the money. I just feel that they're like, don't worry about the money, just get out on the road. And that's because there's inspiration in the process of getting out of Dodge, so to speak. Okay, so for some of you, I do see health issues being of concern right now. Maybe you're connecting with, I love how, why did I just start coughing right now? Something's coming up. Maybe there's, you're going to be connecting with doctors of some sort, or just whatnot. Spirit is saying to have trust in, there's trust in the program. There's a program that's going to be delivered to you or given to you or something like this. They're saying to trust in that. Another group of you here during this time, as these energies are coming in, remember, as the guides have told us, the brighter the light, the longer the shadows. And they said earlier this week in one of the daily readings or maybe last week during the daily readings, to be thankful for the shadows that you hold that are coming up to your awareness, because you got to thank the light. Like, thanks light, because now I know where to look. That's what the light's doing right now. There's a lot of light coming in. Some of you are really afraid of the light here, I'm seeing. And I'm just seeing some of you kind of being like, is that light for me? Is that coming for me? Well, nothing's coming for you. This is your own higher energy that's like, hey, what up? Why are you running? Why are you running? It's just trying to say what up, It's trying to come find you, come say hello. And I also want to tell you that when we are in shadow, the light appears scary. Okay? I'll give you a quick example, when we have downloads, frequencies and codes coming in to the field, coming in gently and lovingly and happily through our crown chakra to give us these upgrades, sometimes you may not be aware of it, but you may be feeling like you're being watched. If you have religious trauma, you may start feeling like there are demons around, something's trying to catch me. If you've got a lot of stuff that you're dealing with in your life, you're gonna shadowy energies, like maybe you don't take accountability for you don't own your projection, so you'll start seeing enemies everywhere. I'm going to blame that person. You have to understand that when light comes in, it illuminates. And what it's illuminating are these spaces in your energetic field where there are some blockages. Now, what are the blockages, Jay? Great question. The blockages are merely the points where you have distortion. Distortion of what? Distortion of the light coming through. So you, instead of seeing love, you're going to see an enemy. Instead of seeing one, you're going to see two, right? You are going to see your own projections. That is why A Course in Miracles rightly teaches us you are not actually seeing. Because if you were actually seeing, you would see light. You wouldn't see anything else but light. But no, you're seeing a person's skin, you're seeing their eyes, you're seeing, and then you're a real G about it, you're seeing their traits. So this person's a liar, this person's lazy, this person's a waste of my time, but all you're seeing is yourself superimposed onto your world. Okay, it's very, very, very important that people start to understand this is a spiritual law. You are not seeing others. So very, very important to own your projections. It seems like you're seeing others, but you're not. Because if you didn't have that energy within you already, you would not be able to even label somebody. You wouldn't have the words to do it because it would be a concept that's foreign to you. But a lot of people forget that they're souls. They are just one cute little jelly bean, part of a larger soul. They've been around the block. They've been incarnating in other planets, in other universes with different laws and different times of this planet in and of itself. And so they have played all sorts of people. And so that's why today you can only see that which you have embodied, that which you carry with you already. But your conscious mind will not remember, because that's how the conscious mind rolls. It barely holds up in the court of law when the judge is like, tell me what you remember. Well, I remember the stop sign was blue. Was it? I think so. It doesn't hold up. So I'm just trying to let you guys know, we out here trying to understand. But we know this already. And so therefore, for this group of you, could be all of us, it's everybody at some point, right? At all points. Spirit is saying, take the time to allow the light to illuminate for you. And that's why they're saying, when you allow yourself the space to see these things, to receive these things, to understand these things about yourself, what you're actually doing is you're saying, I am willing to see, and I thank Spirit for supporting me in this growth, and I support myself by allowing myself to take the time out, by allowing myself to come into the light and become aware. Yes, it hurts, but this is where the courage comes in. And understand that when you are hurting, there's going to be some comfort there for you. And yes, I know that some of you are in situations where you literally don't have people around you who can be of service to you and can help you. Now remember that there are so many good people out there, that just because you don't have them in your immediate environment does not mean they're not out there. If you're feeling that low, you can one day in your car hit up a free 1-800 hotline for whatever topic it is that is going through your mind at that time, right? So you have to remember there are services out there. And there are people who are willing to receive you in the way that you need. So one of the things I'd like to tell you guys now, which is something I will be bringing through my Soul Insight series, but I feel like I've had to put it a little bit more on the back burner until the new year because of, this directive to really hunker down for a little bit right now. But But man, so many ideas. Oof, so I'm just going to give one right now. One of the things that you have to start doing, especially in this day and age where social media is just rife with opinions and all sorts of energies and personalities and news and op-eds and all sorts of stuff. It's very important that you start to get in touch with your inner child, because your inner child can be very much scared by the energies that you just consume in a day. You may not realize this until you really get in touch with yourself and really sit down and talk with yourself. But the inner child is young. And so a lot of times we expose ourselves to really harsh energies online. We see all these harsh quotes, we see all this, we see all that, and it seems like, oh yeah, this is what I should be moving towards. But you have to understand that sometimes these are just talking points. If it's not something that is soothing and gentle and loving and compassionate and something that you would invite into your house to be with your friends and your family, then it's something that you and your kids, right? If you have cute little ones, it's something that you should really consider. Is this an energy that I want to really open myself up to? As the guide said in the daily reading, in the daily channel message today, the heart will lead the way. The heart. Now, they didn't say the mind. The mind, yes, is important too, because we're being asked to have mindfulness. But the mind without the heart is not mindful, because with the heart you have concepts like self-compassion, compassion for others. I'm gonna drop the E word, empathy. Empathy. A lot of people lack empathy. And when you don't have empathy, it's a clear sign that you don't have empathy for yourself. And when you don't have empathy, and it's not the basis of your conversation, it's not the basis of your communication, it's not the what you move on, then it's just a talking point, right? So please be mindful that yes, it's empowering for all of us to be empowered, but without empathy and without compassion, this is not balance, right? So we have to have balance. And the way that we all will start becoming more in tune with that inner balance is by looking at the inner child. The inner child, look how cute. Can you even see that off to the side? Oh, you can't. Bing! There he is. Cute. I mean, when do we get to see a little Pegasus? A little uni Pegasus? Cute, right? If you work with these energies that are good for your little inner self, then that's where you need to go. Remember, you can create boundaries for yourself. You can make changes. You can leave a job. You can do all of this, but you can do it in a way that's kind and loving, right? That puts positive, that puts gentle energy out there, gentle but firm, right? Puts gentle energy out there, and it includes the inner child. Because a lot of us right now, especially during the holidays, now it's interesting. It's weird because I have so many people that I've been chatting with recently, and it's just been such a blessing to connect with. Like, I can count on both hands how many people are really going through some really tough times right now, whether it's financial, health-wise, family-wise, all sorts of stuff. I mean, we're all out here. This is humanity. But then I came across like something I read, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. There are also people who have crippling loneliness and feelings around the holidays. Especially also if you've lost somebody around the holidays, like they passed away in the past. Every year now you have to relive that. So it's very important. I just feel like the guides have really been wanting me to put out this message. It's very important to make sure you have loving kindness, compassion, empathy. These are virtues that have to be. In fact, look at this card. This one card. Open your heart to love. If a person is connecting with you in a way that is not showing that, that means that they don't have that for themselves. And it's not to say, and remember, it doesn't mean being kind should not be mistaken for weakness. Okay, being kind doesn't mean that you're not firm. It doesn't mean that you're not setting boundaries. It doesn't mean that you're not loving yourself. It doesn't mean, what it means is that you are balancing whatever it is that you choose to do in the world with a sense of love and with a sense of empathy for other people, right? Very important. The world is at a crisis of nurturing, and that's because a lot of people don't know how to nurture themselves, and this is completely understandable because a lot of parents never knew how to do that. Look, sensitivity, exactly. Your sensitive feelings are your muse and inspiration for your creativity. I knew there was a reason why the guide said prosperity. Oh, I was gonna say, I knew there was a reason why the guides chose my name, A Compassionate Heart, and I know they put school. We're working on it, right? Because compassion is the energy that is missing. Without compassion, where are you at? Allow yourself to receive. We saw the prosperity there. When you give to others, you're giving to yourself. How you choose to give is really up to you. You can be giving of your time, you can be giving of your well wishes, you can be giving a phone call, you can be giving your kindness, but it's time to really understand that as sophisticated beings, remember the guides have been talking about stepping into sophistication, as sophisticated beings, you are responsible for the energy you put out there. You really are responsible for the energy that you put out there. Because when we pass on, listen, we all gonna have the party like, hey, I'm back. But then you're gonna be whisked right away. You know, everyone trying to stay late at the party because no one wants to go, right? You can be whisked to the life review. And in the life review, it's not going to be like, hey, so did you take that job, that whatever? Yeah, you're going to take the job. Yeah, you're going to do that. And those are acts of self-love and helping other people. But one of the biggest things I think a lot of people miss out on is, did you love enough? Did you love? Were you kind? How did you do it? No one wants to think about the how down here because we're all wrapped up in we got to do it and this is how it's got to be. But the how is very important. And that's a lesson that I think a lot of people are learning right now with this whole Mars in retrograde. This Mars in retrograde in Gemini. Look. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I'm just like, I had a meeting. I have a meeting, a work meeting. This week, it got canceled from the 9th, and an option was there for the 8th. I was like, nope, let me switch it to next week. I don't want any smoke. I don't want any problems at work. I don't want to have the energies of all this frustration and stuff in the air, you know? So that's a shout out. Make sure you check in with your friendly local astrologers because they can help you know what's going on energetically. And of course, you can always check in with your energy intuitives as well because we're talking about the energies too. But listen, double up. But yeah, what you put out is what you will receive. Remember that. So sometimes it's not easy to have it's not easy to have hard conversations, right? Listen, Gemini, we're talking about the moon in Gemini, right? With Mars, hey, it's not easy to have hard conversations. But there's a way. And if you ground yourself in the love and you understand that everybody is sensitive, right? And I think the world is very callous. It's like, I don't care what you think, it's about me, and that's just not going to be the way. That's not evolution there. That's some lateral movements. And the same way when it's not always about other people either, right? You want to also remember that it is about you, but it's not always about you. And it's not always about other people. Sometimes it's about you too. So if we can find a little middle ground here. And no wonder they're talking about this a lot because we're talking about the moon in Gemini, communication. Let's go ahead and grab a few of these guys. Whoopsies. I'm seeing here in the sensitivity card, it's almost like they're having this conversation and it's like and this had come through where a lot of people may have taken action, right? During this time, over maybe the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty pretty crazy the last 2 weeks, energetically speaking. Maybe you've taken action over in the last 2 weeks, and now there's that settling feeling because the energies are kind of like whatever. It's like, why did I do this again? Why did I do this? What did I there? And the guides did talk about this feeling of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and then realizing, oh my God, why was I? What did I do? And forgetting something and needing to go back and look for it. I'm seeing it here. This lovely woman is outside, and the angel's like, "Are you? What is he asking? Did you forget the baby?" Or he's like, "Where's the baby?" I don't know why that example's coming. And then she's like, "Why am I out here?" Right? So it's like if we're not careful, then we're going to end up in places that we shouldn't be. So be mindful. This is why they're showing me now the patience card is one thing. Making sure that you put out energies, regardless of how you're feeling. You try to get as much of your composure and maybe my 5 placements in Libra, but decorum, etiquette is very important. Otherwise you lose people. There is such a thing as losing the message in the delivery, right? So you don't lose the message in your delivery. That's another thing we're seeing here. I'm also getting tuned in now to the energies of low self-worth, poverty consciousness here. It's coming across with the magic and the strength, right? When we come from a place of low self-worth, remember, going back to our discussion about core beliefs, if you have a low self-worth core belief that's way deep in your field, then we know a whole bunch of things, it precipitates down throughout the rest of your field, and it informs your thoughts, and things are going to seem logical. It makes sense to do this, but no, that makes sense if you really have a low sense of self-worth. That makes sense then, but if you don't, then that doesn't make any sense, right? Things seem like they make sense. Actions seem like they were logical to take. Emotions feel like it feels right. Wow, this really feels right. That person did just like they were beating up their spouse, their last 2 spouses, right? How does this feel right? Right? So things feel right because the oil in the engine is off. The gut reactions are there because the oil in the engines are off, and the unconscious actions, we just take action, is there because everything else checked out. I did my due diligence. It seemed logical. It felt good. It made sense. My friends are saying yes, because you attracted those friends because you're all vibing on that in that force field, right? That low self-worth. So you see, this is a beautiful time in December to really look at what's in your tank. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What actions do you take? What are the patterns? Do you have a certain pattern in how you approach things? In what area of your life do you have certain patterns that play out and that do not yield, right? And speaking of yield, look at the 7 of Pentacles. I noticed here that we have the World card. So when we can put an end to this core belief, whatever your core belief is, then we together, yeah. Then we can build, and we can be happy that what we're building is something we can trust in. With this 10 of Pentacles build card right on top of trust. And we know that it will be in alignment with our higher nature, right? So there was a really great example in a book that I love, where they were talking about the core belief that is not founded upon love. And one of the examples, and we're talking energy healing, by the way. I'm looking at the energy. In the energy field, what does that look like? At the, let's say it's in the 7th level of your field, you may have this core belief that you are superior. That's not a loving belief, because the truth is, which we're unable to see in many ways because we're incarnated and fragmented in many ways. The truth is, nobody is better than anyone else, and that means nobody is worse than anyone else. A Course in Miracles teaches us there are no special relationships, okay? So we come to think of special relationships like, oh, this is my mom, so it's more special than that postman who's just delivering my mail, and I'll never see him again in my life. Now, in God's time, that's just not true. Especially considering that you may not interact with that postman, but that postman may have been in more lives with you than the soul is, that your mother is in this life. But anyway, we not on that level right now. We don't have to go there. But the point is, Spirit is saying everybody's the same, but we're in so much distortion, and we're here on earth, and we have that extra biological element of survival, which we know is on low, very, very low on Maslow's pyramid. So where are we at anyway, right? But that causes us to see one as more special or better than the other, right? So anyway, that's for another conversation for somebody other than me. But the point is that when we are coming from that place, we're all skewed. So let's say, for example, that you have the unconscious core belief at the 7th level of your field that says that I am superior. As it precipitates energetically down throughout your field, it's going to hit the next field, and you're going to have a desire, an existential desire to it's either desires next or will. Anyway, existential desire next to have a life or to manifest in the physical world a reality that places you in a place of superiority, right? It's unconscious. And that goes down to having this divine thought that, is all about superiority. So now we have this will, this higher will, and then this higher desire together. But it's all based on a fear-based, not real loving thought that you're superior. So of course you're going to have a desire and thoughts around that. Then it starts going further down into the field, and it starts to populate in places like our mind. Like, of course, I'm superior, but that's not a loving thought. So it's automatically, boom, going to have the equal thought, I'm not superior. And this is a duality that starts to happen, and the fear starts to come because it's like, I'm superior, but on some level we know that's not real. So I also have this fear that I'm not superior. But we can't live with both of those in our mind, so we're going to deny one of those, and of course it's going to be the I'm not superior, and it's going to haunt you like a fear. So now, when you look out into the world, you see the lens of superiority/inferiority on everything. You're competitive. You want to be on top. You think you're better than everybody, or at times you think you're worse than everybody. Someone, comes to you and says, oh, hey, you did a great job. I did, huh? I can't believe I beat everybody. Yeah, I did. That person did. Yeah, that's because that's the life you're seeing and creating and desiring for yourself. And now you're having thoughts. So now you're going to get jobs. You're going to go towards jobs. You're going to go towards relationships. You're going to go towards schools. You're going to go towards hobbies, all in a way to fulfill this higher desire to be superior, all unconscious. So certain jobs are going to be logical. Certain actions are going to be logical. You're going to advise your friends, you need to do this because this is going to put you on top. If you don't, you're going to be a loser. Right? You're going to probably be hard on yourself as well because you can't face the idea of failing because that's going to be inferior to you. And then it's going to precipitate even downward into your emotions. I feel like a failure. I feel good when I'm winning. I'm this, I'm that, I'm sad, I'm in grief, I'm in shame. I'm ashamed now because I got to fail on my exam, right? Because this person has a bigger house than me. So you see, all of this is just precipitating downward into your field. And then you're going to have knee-jerk reactions. Someone says, hey, I noticed that you had a typo here. You're ready to rip their head off. What are you saying? I can't write, right? Then, of course, that person crazy, but you get the point. You're sensitive now around issues that may make you feel or think that you're a failure because you can't be that, because you put that away, so you disowned it. And now when you look out into the world, what you disown, you're seeing, you reject what you're projecting. So when you see other people not succeeding in life or other people not showing up in the way you think they should, they're a failure to you. and you cannot even see another paradigm because you're in that mode. Your core belief is completely skewed. And so so far we've talked about the core belief that I'm superior. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's unloving, very unconscious. It goes down into having a higher desire and a higher will to create a physical environment around you that is going to buy into that. So then you start to have thoughts, the thoughts that run through our mind. We're going to have feelings, the things that we feel. And oh my God, I totally felt, I'm not feeling this guy. I don't really like him because, he only has a high school degree. And I don't know, I just feel like he's a failure. It goes on and on. Then you're going to have knee-jerk reactions. If somebody comes to you or something happens, you're automatically going to have, your superiority is automatically going to kick in. Can you believe this person? I'm just going to swipe. I don't even know what direction it is, but because I'm not on these dating apps, but what is it? Swipe left? If it like to the left, everything you own in a box to the left, like whatever it is, you're going to be like, no, how dare he? He's only making like 2 figures. Like, no thanks. It could be anything. Judgment is going to be big for people like this, right? Judgment. And so you're going to have those knee-jerk reactions where something happens in life and boom, you make an action without thinking. So the way to stop a cycle like that, when you have a core, an unloving core belief that's running amok in your life, is to bring awareness. That's what the guides are saying. Bring awareness to what it is that you're doing. Look at the patterns. How do you treat people? Do you have friends? How do you treat them? Are you a good friend? How do you treat your money? Do you save it well? Do you respect it? Right? How are you in the family? How do you protect yourself? All these kinds of things. What kinds of jobs do you go for? What kinds of, how do you carry your body? How do you carry yourself? All of these things, look for patterns because they can help you to see where in your life you're having these unloving core beliefs. You may not know what the core belief is just yet, but you will be able to see, this isn't good. I'm not leaving things they're not going well in a way. I'm doing my best. We're all doing our best out here. We're all learning, right? But the next step is to reflect. I could have handled that differently. Do I notice a pattern in my behavior, in the behavior of others around me? Look at the people you keep. Are they, there are just so many ways to enter into. And as I always say, shadow readings. Oh, those shadow readings, I'm telling you, they are gold. They will take you places. They'll let you know what you don't see. And of course, you can choose to work on it or not. God bless. But anyway, all of that. And eventually, as you start to heal these parts of you and you start to realize, it was never about these other people. It's me. Of course it's you. It's only you. You're only seeing yourself on other people. So when we point one finger, we got others pointing right back at us, right? And maybe the thumb, I don't know. Are you like this? You're fine. I don't know. Right? So anyway, you get the point. We have to be mindful. This is mindfulness. Understanding what's in my my tank. I was going to say, hey, what's in your wallet? My mind's already on the next thing. What's in your tank? What oil are you running on? And is it love-based or not? If it's not, you're gone. Just kidding. If it's not, we have to do something about it. Now, we could have many core beliefs, and some of our core beliefs are really awesome, but then there's some that are not so awesome. So we really have to find out what they are, and we start by looking at what we're doing, how we're being, how we're showing up, looking for the patterns. So this month of December has just been giving us so much feedback, and so that's why the guides are saying to give yourself the space to really receive this information, to be open and reflect upon it, and may I just add, love yourself. Take care of your little inner unicorn, your inner self right now. Your inner child needs that kind of approach. So if you're putting yourself around harsh energies, be mindful, because sometimes when you do that, you're shutting down parts of you. And I'll tell you that because when I do work with clients, God bless, super hugs, right? people come with different aspects, and you might be like, oh, I just want to find out my past life. But no, your soul was like, hey, we need you to come here because we need you to do some integration. We need you to be aware of these different aspects of you. And we're having these conversations with these aspects. And sometimes these aspects are not trying to feel the conversation because they're upset. They're angry, they're holding energies. And sometimes they're just scared. So sometimes we really will have to try to pull them out. So you don't understand, when we shut these parts of ourselves down, they're not going to want to, they don't feel safe enough to come and talk to us and to heal. So then you can't really get that integration going. So some of you, if your process is about soul integration and that's what you'd like to do, it would behoove you to start getting yourself into more compassionate surroundings, having more love for yourself, listening to yourself some more. You'll be surprised how parts of you will start to open up, because they'll start to trust you. Sometimes they don't trust the client. They don't trust the client because they don't feel safe. And my best advice to you is, once you find out the age of your inner child or inner children, please treat them accordingly. If you have an 8-year-old that's running amok inside of your field and whatnot, you have to do things that would make an 8-year-old feel safe. If you have a rebellious 14-year-old, you good luck. Just kidding. No. It's always the 14-year-old, right? If you have a rebellious 14-year-old to 17-year-old, or if you have a 23-year-old aspect of you that had to go through the school of hard knocks and they don't trust anybody, and they don't trust, like, sometimes getting through those aspects can be a bit tough. And that's why it's important to really be mindful. It all comes down to the M word: mindfulness, awareness, right? Consciousness. All right, so the month of December is a little bit of a rest period, but it's a very active rest period. You might be asked to rest physically, but your mind's going to be going, because there's a lot going on. So I would just advise to get a pen and paper, write stuff down, take your time, love yourself, really be mindful about where you're putting yourself this month and who you're doing it with and how you're doing it, because you may be alienating parts of yourself that are in need of healing. Okay. What else? Oh, yeah, the guys are like, didn't you want to pull some of those cards? I sure did. All right, let's do this. So we'll pull 3. I always say pull 3 or whatever number and then proceed to pull 40. We'll pull a few and then we'll end this. Healing. Fortuitous. The direction. There's the 4th. Wisdom. Perception. Yep. Perception. Yeah. When we heal, things get better, gives us a direction upon which we can trust the wisdom, and that's going to inform our perception, and our perception will be precise. So healing. I'm going to do mine, you do yours. Let's do it together. We'll do our best, and we'll love ourselves through it, and we'll love each other through it. No one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. So, all right. Oh, yeah. I just saw this card. Ask for help, right? Get more rest right now. Nurture yourself. Yes, God is good. Oh my God, I just remembered I had hot chocolate, guys. One of my inner children loves hot chocolate. I remember when I used to be like studying a few months ago, and I would be really trying to burn the midnight oil, and I would just be getting antsy, and I'm like, I really want to sit and do this. I'm really interested in reading this, but there's a part of me that just doesn't want to. That's the split. So then I stopped one day. I was like, okay, well, who you? What do you want? Not in that way. But I tuned in. I was like, what's going on with me? And I realized I had an 8-year-old that was like, I don't want to study. I just want to relax. I want to play. If you know me really well, you know I play The Sims 4 like it's going out of style. 22 years, right? I love that game. Anyway, so she just wanted to play. In other words, I wanted to play. A part of me wanted to play. I didn't want to sit here and study for hours. And then I struck a bargain. I was like, listen, look, little girl. Just kidding. I was like, okay, well, how about, and when an adult's about to BS you, I know, why don't we? It was one of those. And I was like, okay, how about we make a deal? I'm going to study a little bit longer because I do want to get this done. So how about, what can I do to help you? And we decided together that I would drink hot chocolate when I do it. Like I would study for 2 hours. Then when I hit 9 p.m., go downstairs, make some nice hot chocolate, and then probably try to hit another hour or 2. And it worked fine. She was like, cool. And then I was able to do what I had to do. So you see, that's what it is. If you want to think about your pets, your pets are the same way. They're like, hey man, what are you doing? And why are you doing it for so long? What about me? Right? If you have a spouse, if they care, I don't know. Hey man, what are you doing? And why are you doing it for so long? What about me? Right? So whatever it is, just start listening to your inner. So I'm going to have some hot chocolate. And before I let you go, if you'd like to have a personal reading with me or an energy healing session with me, you know where I be. Check my Etsy, my DMs. And yeah. Until then, much love and many blessings. God bless you and keep up the great work, you guys, okay? Now's the time, ouch, to spread some compassion. Start being kind. Let's do it. Mwah. Bye.